红点，40公斤啦。
大家都知道啤酒很好喝，但是啤酒到底是从哪里来的？我们今天呢就是要探索这个东西。Let's go。Okay, so right here I have the heart and soul of Redpoint. Red and Point. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so Spencer and Doug. Basically, Redpoint is a two-man team, am I right? Like everything from boiling the water to when you get that beer, like you guys are in charge of all of that.
Yep. We say it's handcrafted beer. It's
literally.
真的是手工。
对啊，现在很少的东西真的是手工。
All beer can be classified as either a lager or an ale. Pilsner being a lager, that means that fermentation temperature is going to be lower. IPAs are very hop forward, predominantly a lot of hops.
The long long Thai PA.
Cheers.
Hakey. Makes you hakey. But
For the brewing process, you take that hot water and you put it into what's called your mash tun.
what happens in the mash tun?
So in the mash tun, you put your hot water in there, add in what's called your malt, and then you let it just sit. And now what you have is water that has the sugar from
The
malts. And now this soupy water that has the sugar in it is called your wort, and you're gonna move it into your what's called your brew kettle.
Ooh, okay.
So this is where you're going to boil it. So what we do is then we take hot water and we sprinkle it on the top of the mash tun while we're taking off from the bottom. So it's like replacing with hot water as your
Is that to regulate the temperature? Just keep
part of
it
it. Part of it
consistent?
to raise the temperature, so you can
Oh.
stop your saccharification. That's part of it, and the other is to keep your temperature. Yeah.
Okay.
And then once we're done here with our boil, we're gonna do something called a whirlpool. And a whirlpool is when you take all of this liquid, this wort again, and you shoot it in through the side of your kettle. And so what you're doing is you're taking all of that, all the hops and everything that was in your wort, and you bring it to the bottom of the kettle. So that way you can bring out only the good stuff that you want.
Okay.
And then what we do is we bring it through our heat exchanger here. That can cool down 100 degrees of boiling wort to 12 degrees.
We can take 3,500 liters from 100 degrees Celsius to 12 degrees Celsius in about 45 minutes.
Wow.
So after it comes through the heat exchanger, we'll use a food grade brewer's hose, and then we put it into whichever fermenter we've prepared. What we're gonna do after fermentation's finished is we're gonna bring down the temperature. Basically, we're putting all the yeast to sleep because they're done eating, they've done their job, and then we'll bring
They
it.
go to yeast heaven?
Well, they're not dead yet.
Oh,
They just go to sleep.
Okay.
They just sleep. So we bring down the temperature, so all the yeast that's in the beer now will come as conical. It's called a conical fermenter. We're gonna take this beer and we're gonna put it into another tank. And now we're gonna have what's called bright beer, which means there's no more yeast in it, so it's not cloudy. Then we're gonna carbonate it with CO2, and now we're ready to package it.
For somebody that's not familiar with beer pong, how would you explain it? 啤酒球.
啤酒球,
酒球. That's like I like that.
啤酒.
啊，啤球。所以啤酒球是在美国的大学开始的一个游戏，然后它有点类似乒乓球，但是用手直接丢乒乓球，然后想要投入对方的啤酒杯，投入之后对方就需要把他的啤酒喝掉。最后呢，就是如果你把你对手的那边的杯子都全部投完，他们就输了，然后他们需要喝更多的啤酒。
Fun party game.
Chinese food would you say goes the best with your beer?
牛肉面。
牛肉面。
牛肉面。